YouTube, what's going on? How's everybody feeling? This is regular Ravens fan coming back at you. And I gotta bring this video out because of course Lamar Jackson stays on the tip of everybody's tongue. And the guy on the left side of your screen has something to say. I don't agree with it. I think he has a little bit of buffoonery with him. But I want to say something before I play this video, right? I want to let you all in on something that I really truly believe from the bottom of my heart. Narratives are more important than reality. There's an old saying, and I know everybody knows it, that perception is reality. And I really mean that when I say that. Like it's so important because that perception of you, which is the same thing as the narrative on you, it can impact your opportunity, it can impact your money, and ultimately it can impact what people think of you before they even have a chance to meet you, right? That being said, that's the reason why myself and others in the Baltimore Ravens community, Ravens Nation, that's why we defend Lamar Jackson so much. People always say, oh, those Ravens fans, every time somebody says something about Lamar Jackson, they always run to his defense. That's because we see a good, humble dude who is doing everything the right way. He's doing everything the way that they say you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to come in, put your head down, go to work. Every offseason, he spends his offseason, he's working on getting better, right? He's working out with his receivers. These are things that the great quarterbacks do, and we watch and we hear reporting of this guy doing this. Yet the national media bashes him. Then we watch him succeed year after year after year since he's been in the league. Some of us who are really, really strong football fans, we've watched him do the same things he's doing in the NFL in college. So it's not like it came out of nowhere, but he still gets the hate of what he can't do and what he's not going to be and what he's not. He presently isn't. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video, let you all hear what Stephen A has to say in reference to Lamar Jackson being elite. Now remember that word, because that word is key. Elite, right? So let's get in it. Let's get into it.
Shade on Lamar Jackson. The brother can play, and he's a former
MVP, yeah.
league MVP. We know the brother's not a scrub. That's not this conversation. The conversation is the word elite. And here's where Keyshawn lost the argument. Okay. 2 seconds into his soliloquy. 2 seconds. You know what he said, Molly?
What?
You know what he said, John? Let me quote Keyshawn Johnson. I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind catching passes from him. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Those are his words.
You're right.
That's a wide receiver, an all-pro wide receiver, a Super Bowl champion
cool with that.
wide receiver saying, I wouldn't mind
I'd be cool.
catching passes from him. He lost the argument right there.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, here's the reality. We know that Lamar Jackson is an electrifying athlete, a playmaker at the quarterback position. The only quarterback in history that ran for back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons at the quarterback spot. He is special. The problem is when you call yourself an elite quarterback and you bring that conversation into the direction of wow. My #1 criteria is, are you an accurate thrower of the football? Particularly under pressure. I'm not talking about scrambling out of the pocket when you ain't got nothing in front of you and you zipping the pass here or there. And I'm not trying to say he can't throw from the pocket and he hasn't made good throws from the pocket. What I'm saying is Lamar Jackson has yet to prove that he is an elite passer. And if you are not an elite passer, you are not an elite quarterback. Period.
Let me play devil's advocate.
I want to stop it right there. I'm going to give you a little bit more, but I want to stop it right there. You listen to the things that Stephen A. Smith says. We're talking about being elite, right? As an elite player at the quarterback position. An elite player, people, is someone who stands out and stands above the rest, right? And when we're talking about football, we're going to say particularly amongst his compadres, co-workers, whatever words you want to use, other quarterbacks. Amongst all quarterbacks, does this player stand out? Does he stand above, right? Can he do something that others can't do? These are the things that make you an elite player. Now, I'm going to give the reasons as to why Lamar Jackson is an elite quarterback. Number one, Stephen A. Smith himself said that Lamar Jackson is the only player in the history of the NFL, not in the last 5 years, not in the last 10 years, not since 2000, in the history of the NFL. That goes all the way back to when the quarterback was the true definition of the word, one of the running backs. See, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but the original quarterback, you had a quarterback, a halfback, and a fullback. All three of them carried the ball. The forward pass wasn't always a part of the game. So I'm all the way through the history of the game, right? Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback in the history to ever run for 1,000 yards twice. And he did this when people knew that he was capable of doing it. His rookie year, he's only been a starter 2.5 years, number one. But his rookie year, when he came in and started starting, that's what he did. He put it out there in film. And they said, oh, well, you know, everybody's got film on him now. These defensive coordinators in the NFL, they've got film on him. He won't be able to do that. So he came back the next year and he ran for 1,200 yards. Oh, well, you know, he did that at MVP. Let's see if he can do it again. That's what they said. Well, let's see if he can do it again, you know, because, you know, he did that and it's not sustainable. You can't sustain that. Nobody can do that. And he came out last year and he did it again, ran for 1,000 yards. Has been in the playoffs and led his team to the playoffs each year he's been in the league. His first year, his rookie year, he actually saved his team because they were 4-5 outside of the playoff picture looking in. 4-5 with 7 games to go. And he doesn't only lead them to the playoffs, he leads them to a division title. His only loss being to Kansas City in overtime, right? Comes back his second year after that. So this is what I'm saying, people. Let's look to see if he's elite. So his first year as a starter, he went 6-1, took the team to a division title, and his only loss was to arguably the best quarterback in the game right now. I say arguably, Patrick Mahomes, in overtime. So the league was on notice. Then he had a whole offseason to prepare. Everybody knew it. They saw the offense, right? He came back and he ran for 1,200 yards. 1,200. After you knew that this is what he was about. You knew that he could do this. You saw it. And remember remember everybody that lost to the blueprint. He'll never be able to run like that next year because the blueprint. They got the blueprint to how you stop him. So with the blueprint and with a whole offseason of game plan, they stopped him from running for 1,300 yards because he ran for 1,200. So then the next year he comes back. Remember, there was no offseason last year. This is a quarterback going into his second season as a starter, his third year in the NFL. He loses an entire preseason and off season. He loses that. I'm talking about training camp. Has none of that. Comes back. His team goes 11-5. Misses the division title for the third time in his career. They miss it by 1 game. They were 11-5. Pittsburgh Steelers were 12-4. He ran for 1,000 yards. Now let me show you how they do this. Lamar Jackson regressed last year. He regressed. The team was 11-5. This is also what they did to you last year, though. Oh, the Steelers are back. The Steelers are back. They were 12-4. So Lamar Jackson regressed, and his team was 1 game worse than the division champs? The team that was celebrated and praised all year long? Okay, fine. Lamar Jackson has put up over 4,000 yards of total offense in his MVP season. He's also only one of 2 players to ever win unanimous MVP. Like, we're asking if he's elite. These are the things that Lamar Jackson did. One of only 2 players to win unanimous MVP for any position. Led the league in touchdown passes. Led the league in QBR from the pocket. Last year, his passing yards were down, and his passing touchdowns were down. But again, that MVP season was an historic season. Historic. A season doesn't become historic if it's commonplace, people. That was not a commonplace season in the NFL. For him to throw for 3,700 yards and rush for 1,200 yards was not a common season in the NFL. So last year he threw for 2,700 plus and he ran for 1,000. That's almost 4,000 yards of total offense, right? You tell me what quarterback in the league that puts up 3,800 yards of offense, of passing offense, whatever you want to say, right? Because they don't run at all. They put up 3,800 yards of passing offense. They throw 26 touchdowns and 9 picks. Who says that that's a bad season? Who says that that's a regression? Who says that? If Russell Wilson does that, does anyone say he's regressed? No. When Tom Brady was doing that up in New England, you know what they said? He needs more weapons. So he goes to Tampa Bay with all of those weapons because he needed more weapons. But when Lamar Jackson's numbers go down, he's regressed. He's not good. The word elite, Lamar Jackson is one of one quarterbacks in the NFL that defensive coordinators set their defensive game plan up to stop him. And I'm adding in every quarterback in the league. That's including Patrick Mahomes and anybody else you can think about. When you play against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, you say, how do I stop Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, and that running back kid they got? I'm blanking on his name right now. Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That's what you say when you play Kansas City. How do we stop these guys, right? When you play against Dak Prescott, you say, how do we stop Zeke? How do we stop Amari Cooper? How do we stop CeeDee Lamb? How do we stop Michael Gallup? How do we contain these guys? That's what you game plan for. When it's the Steelers, you game plan for how do we stop Juju and those wide receivers and that tight end and Claypool. And now they've got that running back, so you're probably going to game plan for that. When you play against Josh Allen and the Bills, who had his great year last year, right? The game plan isn't Josh Allen. The game plan is how do we contain Stephon Diggs and Cole Beasley? That's the game plan. When you play against the Baltimore Ravens, the defensive coordinator's game plan is how do we stop Lamar Jackson? How do I put my defensive players in position to make a play on Lamar Jackson? That's what you game plan for. So that alone makes him elite. The fact that he's running the ball at the clip that he's running it at and doing what he's doing when they know it's coming, that makes him elite. Ravens aren't out there doing trick plays to get Lamar's running yards. Sometimes he's running power. Like, that's how he's getting hit. They know it's coming. And they still can't stop it. That makes it elite. Now, I don't know if people truly understand this, but then he also said that you got to be accurate, right? Pressure, when it's pressure. And I'm not talking about pressure when you scramble around. I'm talking about pressure when it's coming right up at you. What quarterback stands there and absorbs hit after hit if he has the ability to scramble away from it? The very fact that he's scrambling means that it's pressure, Stephen A. Smith. I don't know how you're on TV if you don't understand football. Haven't we all seen the great plays of Patrick Mahomes rolling out and running around in circles and then making a pass? Haven't we seen Aaron Rodgers roll out and throw the pass? Haven't we seen Deshaun Watson do it? Quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. That's because there's pressure. If there's no pressure, quarterbacks stay in the pocket. So to say that I'm not talking about when he scrambles, what are you talking about? That's code word for he can't, in order to be an elite quarterback, you can't be mobile. Because that's all you're saying. No quarterback in their right mind, if they have the ability to move when the pressure is coming, they would move. Those are grown 250 to 300 pound men coming at you with a full head of steam. You want to move. So the very fact that he's scrambling, that means that there's pressure. We all saw Lamar Jackson leave the Cleveland game last year when the season was on the line. The season was on the line. And Lamar Jackson left the game with cramps. The Ravens had a 14-point lead. Lamar Jackson comes out the tunnel from cramps. The Ravens have a 1-point deficit along with a 4th and 5. So basically 4th and season. It was basically 4th and season on the line. You don't convert this, there's no playoffs. He didn't only convert it. He turned it into a touchdown. Like, what more do you need to see that this is an elite football player, an elite quarterback? Saying he's not accurate. He's got to be accurate, right? Because this is what they love to say about Lamar Jackson. Again, these are narratives that they're putting into people's minds. Understand, these things can mess with Lamar Jackson's money. It can cause him commercials. It can cause him endorsements. It gives people this fake narrative that this young black man, who happens to be the most athletic quarterback we've seen since Michael Vick, who can probably do whatever he wants on a football field when we should be celebrating that and allowing people to go along for the ride of the history that he's making because he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory right now. Instead of doing that, they putting in people's minds that he can't throw. Well, regular Ravens fan want to show you all something about that can't throw narrative. So stay with me real quick while I show you my big screen, because I love to do this. So on my big screen, what I have in front of you is Lamar Jackson's career completion percentage, right? This is the thing that's going to show if a quarterback is accurate or not. Like, this is it. All of that talk and just showing you clips of his worst plays, this is the telltale sign. His first year in the league, remember, he was not a starter his entire season. He came in the league. It wasn't even an offense for him. It was Joe Flacco's team. So it was a Joe Flacco built team, right? With receivers for Joe Flacco. Nevertheless, he was at 58.2%. That's his rookie year. It's not, I mean, a lot of rookies do that, right? A lot of rookies aren't great their rookie year. And he was 21 years old. At age 22, he completed 66.1% of his passes. At age 23, he completed 64.4% of his passes. So Lamar Jackson, the quarterback that they say isn't accurate, is completing 64% of his passes for his career. 64.0 right there in your screen. But they're saying he's not accurate. And the people say, wait a minute, regular Ravens fan, that's only 64%. You know, is that good? You're using that to say this shows that he can complete passes, that he is accurate. Well, funny, because this is Patrick Mahomes' career completion percentage. Patrick Mahomes, right? The quarterback that they love to tout. The one who is, you know, the Messiah himself, can do no wrong. Every pass that's incomplete is not his fault. They never talk about his overthrows. They never talk about when he throws the ball in the ground. They never talk about when he throws the ball in the triple coverage and Tyreek Hill outjumps people because that's a bad pass. If I'm throwing the ball in the triple, I don't care how good my receiver is. If I'm throwing the ball in the triple coverage, somebody's wide open. So you're not reading the field good. Nevertheless, I digress because I don't want to make this sound like Patrick Mahomes' heat. That's just facts. This is Patrick Mahomes. His career completion percentage is 66.0. He's only been in the league one more year than Lamar, but remember, Patrick Mahomes did not play his rookie year. He played one game, the last game of the season. So when I show you these numbers, they're actually more indicative than you think. Don't think there's something missing from this. The rookie year isn't on here, but the rookie year he only played one game. At age 23, right? Age 23, he completed 66% of his passes. At age 24, he completed 65% of his passes. And at age 25 last year, he completed another 66.3. His highest, by the way, ever. So Patrick Mahomes, right, who we all say is accurate, he's accurate. He is exactly 2 percentage points better than Lamar Jackson. 2 percentage points from 66 to 64. Both of them, their best was in the 66 range. 66.1 for Lamar, 66.3 for Patrick Mahomes. I'm telling you this because they keep telling you people that Lamar Jackson can't throw. Yet Lamar Jackson is completing 64% of his passes. Patrick Mahomes is completing 66% of his passes. Patrick Mahomes has the benefit of an Andy Reid offensive play caller. He has the benefit of Andy Reid, and anybody who knows anything about football who's seen Andy Reid from Philly to Kansas City knows that Andy Reid loves to employ that screen game. That screen game has been his bread and butter from his days in Philly when he had Westbrook, and when he had Shady, all the way to when he came to Kansas City. That's his thing. That screen game of his, he called some screen passes I've never seen before. So Lamar Jackson does not benefit from a screen game. Yet, there's a 2 percentage point difference. But they tell you that this kid isn't accurate. They keep saying this on TV. He's got to get better. Well, if Lamar Jackson has to get so much better at throwing the football, why doesn't Patrick Mahomes? 2 percentage points is not some huge jump, people. It's really not. Like, being in the 60s and being in the 50s, that's a thing. But being 66 and 64, you're pretty much the same. We're talking about drops here and there at that point. And when you're 66 and 64, the difference in that is a few passes here and there. It's not, if Lamar Jackson were wildly inaccurate, he'd be in the 50s like Cam Newton was for the majority of his career. Like Cam Newton just got up to 60% when he went and played with New England. Before that, Cam Newton's career completion percentage was at 59. Have you ever heard anyone says that Cam Newton can't throw? He's at 59 before last year. All them years he was in the league, 59%. Anyone ever said Cam Newton couldn't throw? Anyone ever said Cam Newton's not accurate? No. So why are you saying it about Lamar Jackson? Now, I want to show you one more thing real quick to prove to you why I fight so hard about this national media thing. Listen very carefully to what Stephen A. Smith is about to say. Now, before I play this portion of it, because I'm not going to play you all of what Keyshawn Johnson have to say, I just want to let you know what they're talking about. Keyshawn Johnson is going to respond in reference to about it doesn't matter what people in the media say. Watch what Stephen A. Smith responds with.
Even that he has not had the right situation, on top of not having a situation, it's right for the Baltimore Ravens. Damn what you think he should be. It's right for the Ravens, and here's why it's right for the Ravens, because they get ready to turn in the bag. And when a team turns in the bag, that tells you what they feel about you, regardless to what mainstream media and fan bases think.
Okay. Well, I would respond. I have a retort to that argument that Keyshawn Johnson just made. See, he lost the argument again. Damn what we think. Doesn't quite work that way, my brother. Doesn't quite work that way, okay? Because let me tell you something right now. Keyshawn Johnson. You understand what I'm saying? That Keyshawn Johnson radio show in the morning with 4 hours. That's why all of those guests are flocking there. You know why? Because they care what the hell Keyshawn thinks. That's why. And let me tell you something right now. When you're sitting up there as a football team, I thought, correct me if I'm wrong, Keyshawn.
I just wanted to play that part because that speaks to my issue with the narrative. That narrative is so important. Stephen A. Smith just said it. And then after he said it, he caught himself. So he wanted to take the conversation somewhere else because he knew he was telling on himself. That's why these people on TV do this. I really wish that the ex-players in the league and the people that support Ravens Nation, that we all stand up, man, and we got to push back against this narrative. You heard what the man just said. That's fact. People around the world, people around the country can't see every team. They can only see their region. They rely on television shows. They rely on analysis to help them make an idea and a judgment on what a guy should be. Even some writers. Like, if you're writing for the Dallas Star, you aren't paying attention to what the Baltimore Ravens are doing. But when it comes time to submit a vote for All-Pro, a vote for MVP, a vote for whatever, these are the things that these people rely upon. If I was wrong, people, it wouldn't be so many shows. Look at how many analysis shows you have out there, because they know that the narrative they spin becomes reality. And they have never, ever since Lamar Jackson came in the league, it's been all negative on him. It's been negative on him since before he came in the league. They wanted him to switch positions. Maybe now we all can understand why they wanted him to switch positions. Because they knew he was going to rip the league up. Similar to a young Randy Moss. Randy Moss fell in the draft, and what did he say? I'm going to rip this league up. Maybe they knew, man, if we let this kid play quarterback and show what he can do, it's going to knock a lot of people who are not as athletically gifted as he is out of jobs. Because there are a lot of people like him that are athletically gifted at the college level who get their positions changed to get into the NFL, to secure the bag, which is what all of these guys ultimately do it for. And they're told, you need to be a wide receiver, you need to be a running back, you need to be a DB. But really, a lot of them have athletic skills that they should be continuing to play quarterback. It happened to Antoine Randall. It happened to Hines Ward. It happened to the kid Pryor from Ohio State. It's happened to a lot of them in the past. They don't want this kid to succeed for a reason. And it's not even a good reason. This is a good guy. Like, by all accounts, this is a good dude. Gives back to the young guys, young kids, I should say. He's humble. He's team first. He just wants to win. Why would you not promote this guy? But they've hated on him since he's come into the league, and he's won unanimous MVP. He's been a division title winner twice in his 3 years. He's been to the playoffs every year he's been in the league. He's continually gotten better every year he's been in the league. And they keep saying what he can't. Everything is negative. That's why regular Ravens fan pushes back on the narrative. And that's why I'm asking you all that are in the earshot of me to do the same thing too. And I'm putting a request out there to you guys who used to wear the uniforms and now you sit with a suit on. Stop putting these people like Stephen A. Smith in their place, man. Stand up like Keyshawn did on this video. Stand up and tell it like it really is so that the people around the country can really understand what's good, who's really balling out there. Because when we watch TV and we watch Lamar Jackson on our TV screen, we don't see nothing but a baller. He jumps out the screen. Defenses are game planning for him. Absolutely, he's elite. He's absolutely elite. And if you put him in a draft right now, if you redraft that same draft of 2018 right now, he'd go #1 overall. Period, point blank, end of discussion. If there was no Bill Polians out there and no other haters out there, you'd have him go #1 overall. Because he's, with the #1 overall pick, Baker Mayfield, has been insulated and surrounded by all kinds of talent and has not accomplished half of what Lamar Jackson's accomplished yet. And they've got nothing but excuses. Nothing but excuses. Man, it's regular Ravens fan, man. I'm Ravens for life. That's my quarterback, and I'm going to continue to push back against these fake narratives. Stephen A. Smith, I don't know what your problem is, man. I don't know if you're doing some illegal stuff, but you better get your mind right, man, because you're way off. This is definitely an elite quarterback. Ravens for life, man. We out here.